We put cinema lenses on an A73. This is how it looks. It is kind of insane. These lenses are like worth $15,000 total. This is by far the most money that's ever been on my desk, and it's kind of freaking me out right now because this desk kind of sucks. So a couple months ago, my buddy Michael Leach reached out to me about doing a short film. He and his friend kind of had the idea for it, but they needed a director. It's about a musician who gets kidnapped by a producer and is forced to make a song, and her artistic integrity takes over and she battles him on that front. So over the next couple of weeks, we worked on a draft and we started casting. We found amazing people to be a part of it. But I told him from the beginning, I was like, we should shoot this on your cameras. Because we were talking about like renting an RE or something along those lines. And I was like, no, we don't need to do that for this. But I did tell him, I was like, one way we can improve the quality of the whole piece just across the board is to get cinema glass. You can take a camera like an A73, you can take like a GH5, and you can improve the image quality so much by what you get the sensor to interpret. Now what's interesting is like most of the things I see on YouTube are all about the camera. And I think we lean towards that as a community just because maybe it's more quantifiable. Oh, this thing has, dual native ISO and it can shoot in the middle of the night and it'll be fine. That's all well and good, but I think we're missing out the other 50% of the image, which is the optics. And the nature of cinema glass is just a sharper image. You're gonna get a little less contrast, so it's gonna feel more organic, just ultimately higher quality video. So we got the 135 T2. This thing is a beast. This thing is optically amazing. The bokeh is insane. The depth of field is like a potato chip. It's so hard to pull focus on this thing, but it looks incredible. And that's the main reason we wanted it. And then we got the 28 just for the wider shots. And then we got the 50 to 100. The 50 to 100 is definitely I feel like the most common lens used out of the Sigma cine set. I've shot a lot of stuff on this lens, especially for lower end cinema zooms. It's pretty hard to beat. It's parfocal and it's pretty sharp throughout. Part of the funny thing about having these honkin' lenses on an A73 is we didn't have a focus puller. If you're doing these long racks or you're doing movement, you have to be really careful when you're moving the camera because the weight is all messed up. I will say that was a drawback of shooting on these lenses. Part of the reason that the footage looks so good in this video is because of these lenses, but the other half of it is the lighting. Jason, our gaffer, knew so much about photography and about lights and about how to shape light and how to diffuse light properly and how to get level. And that is the type of thing that's going to bring value to whatever you shoot, whether you have photo lenses or cinema lenses. If it's not lit well, it's going to look like crap. Now, part of the interesting thing with this was I was going to be directing, but I was also going to be running B-Cam. This is a fun project. We're going to have to move fast. We need 2 cameras. It's going to be breakneck speed to shoot this in 2 days. For one scene, we did 2 setups with 4 shots total for this one scene. That provides so much value in the edit. That provides so much to work with creatively. So part of this was a creative decision to get really high quality, but also to improve the types of shots that we could get. If Mike is getting a wider shot on the 50, I can hop to the 135 and get a close-up. If he's shooting a tighter shot at the 75 or 100, I can hop to the 28 and grab a wide. We had over 115 shots for a 15-page short film. I would not recommend that, but that is my own fault. I am living in my own chaos. This zoom is freaking huge. The rails were too close to the lens to actually get the lens support under there properly. So we put the lens support underneath it, and then we stuck the distance that was between them, we stuck it full of business cards. If you want to use cinema glass, you don't have to buy it right away. This is $5,000 in my hand. That's kind of insane. I rented these 3 lenses for 4 days from Lens Rentals, and it was $650. It's literally 5% of the price of all 3 of these lenses put together. So it gives you the opportunity to try out cinema glass, and if you have a project that's a portfolio piece or a project you really care about, you can drop the cash on it and improve your quality immediately. I don't want this to be like a, hey, you have to have this piece of gear to go tell your story. Cinema glass is a tool. If you have photo glass and a camera, you can go shoot something and make it really cool. Part of the reason everything looked so good in the short was partly because of the lenses, I'll give you that. But a lot of it was because of the lighting and the set design and the characters and the costumes. Like, there was so many other aspects to filmmaking that made the short look good. It wasn't just the lenses. Nugget, do you want in? It's Nugget's nap time, so he has to be in my arms.
There you go.
Well, hopefully you found a little bit of this interesting. Thanks for watching. It's the only thing I know how to play.